What's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster here on the live stream on this Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th, 2022 date. Definitely sending tributes out to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country and those who were wounded in battle. Looking at the latest earthquake activity here on the globe shows a 1.7 earthquake, pretty deep earthquake. Actually, this one looks pretty shallow in this area, but we have been seeing a swarm of deep movement here into the area around the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate up there in Alaska. So before we get to this activity, kind of want to cover the big story currently out there tonight happening here in, well, about little under 3 hours or so. I'm going to be out there as soon as it gets dark with my camera here in the backyard to check out the potential meteor show tonight. A meteor shower, meteor storm. A lot of folks calling this a big event, once in a lifetime type event from the Tau Herculid meteors that are coming in around looking like about 10 p.m. peak time. That's going to be for the West Coast, 1 a.m. Eastern time. So your time zones independent in between there. Looks like definitely we could have a awesome storm, or it may be something that won't even come forth. It all depends on exactly how much debris this comet lost back in 1995 and the speed that the debris was traveling at once it separated from the comet, which is 73 P. Watchman 3. The comet broke up in 1995 and continued to fragment. So looks like we'll be coming into that level, that plane level in space, where we could be seeing a potential swarm. If the shower takes place, the meteors will appear to radiate from the constellation Boots. It looks like the herdsman, about 6 degrees northwest of the bright orange star Arcturus. There we go. But you need not to find this point, because if the meteor storm does take place, it'll be obvious where it's at. Basically, you want to look towards west-northwest. And I have a clear view here in my backyard, in my field, I should say, of the horizon towards that area. So I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping I at least catch a couple. There is no moon tonight. We're looking at a new moon. So this is a plus, right, in terms of any light pollution. If you are in the city, obviously it's not going to be prime in terms of seeing any significant meteor showers tonight. You got to get out there underneath the dark skies. And the reason for this as well is because the debris, these meteors that will be hitting the atmosphere, are traveling a little bit slower in terms of other meteor storms, other meteor showers, which will produce a brighter and more prominent trail, that streak that you see across the sky when you see a meteor. But these may be a little bit fainter. But if it does come to play and things work out like they're possibly predicting it will be, we could be seeing upwards of around, about 40 meteors per second, I believe is what they stated. Up to maybe 100,000 is what they're stating. Let me go ahead and check out, let's see here if they mention that in this region here. I think this article right here kind of talks about it a little bit more. Article from KCRA, a local news channel here in Northern California. Talking about some of the fragments are moving fast enough to be visible. Exciting space scientists with this storm. Looks like it's going to be an all or nothing event, as I mentioned. The debris from SW3, that's a short for the comet, will strike Earth's atmosphere slower than the meteor showers at its velocity, rather than, which the debris strikes rather than the size of the debris that causes the shower. So it's going a little bit slower. So it's not necessarily the size, but the speed that matters in this case. Even if visible, this means the meteors would be much fainter, but there could be a potential for a bunch of them. So if you have a long exposure type lens, which I'm going to be out there tonight with my Nikon D7200, I'm going to put on a wide lens, and I'm going to set it at about just for a little bit of info, about 30-second exposure, and probably do about 300 ISO, and we'll see how that works out. It should be pretty cool. I'm hoping this is going to be either a dud or it's going to be something really cool. Let's go back here and see if I can show you guys the area where it's going to take place at. Here's a little view. Looks like towards, as I mentioned, towards the northwestern type of horizon here. Like I say, if you're out there and you got a clear view of the western, northwestern, eastern, it doesn't matter where you look at. You should see them if they do happen in the night sky. But just for reference there, it will be towards the western, northwestern portion of the sky. Baja California looks to be the prime spot. And as you get out here in these radiants, then they tend to get fainter and fainter. But man, here in Northern California, where I'm at, we should have a pretty good shot of seeing something, again, pending if they do hit. So I'm actually pretty excited, folks. I can't wait. I'm going to go out there, in fact, around dark, and set up my tripod and whatnot. This thing has been fragmenting since about 1995, so a little uncertainty, right? 1995, man, it's been a while. Those were like years. Well, 97. I remember the comet back there that lit up the summer sky for quite a while. Comet Hale-Bopp. But this was back in 1995 when this comet broke up. So it's possible, that we could be seeing a significant meteor shower tonight. Again, 1 a.m. Eastern time. Look towards the west, northwest. You got to be out of the city. You can't be up there in Chicago, New York, right in the middle of all the light pollution. So you got to get away from that area. And if you really want to see it, here where I'm at, I don't have a whole lot of light pollution, so I'm very thankful for that. But 1 a.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. here, West Coast time. But like I said, I'm going to go out there after dark, right around dark time, and see if I can catch something going on. So got my batteries charged and my remote and my clicker. Everything's all ready. Just got a hiccup all of a sudden. All right. Earthquake activity. What do we got going on here around the globe? Not a whole lot. If you look at the earthquake map here, this is the last 24 hours here from the USGS. We are seeing one earthquake, a 5.1 in the Indonesia area. But, man, there's not a lot. I'm not even joking. This is very odd in terms of earthquake activity for global movement. There is some activity along the Aleutian Trench. We did see that little swarm of activity up here. Let's go ahead and bring the all magnitudes up here. This is happening right around the Cook Inlet area with some deep earthquake activity kicking up here into the Cook Inlet region. This is going to be the subduction zone of the North American plate and the Pacific plate here. This area does see some rather large earthquakes. I think we all know that. And slip rate, accumulated slip rate stress here is very high in this region. Although the further west you go, the higher it gets. But this area has been showing quite a bit of deep earthquake movement recently. And specifically today, some of those earthquakes down there, around 137, 120 kilometers down there around the Cook Inlet area. And of course, that does ultimately build strain, further stress up here along the subduction zone itself. The western portion of the Pacific Ring of Fire, so-called, is very quiet. Not a whole lot going on. Got one earthquake out here around the Papua New Guinea area, west of there into the Indonesia islands of 5.1. But not a whole lot taking place there above the 4.0 threshold. In the Tonga Trench area, one deep earthquake and one shallow earthquake. Looks like a 4.9 and a 4.5. The recent quake, the more deeper one. Kermadec Trench looks pretty quiet in terms of 4.0 and above. South America region, I'd say this looks a little bit more active than other areas around the globe right now. Although the majority of this activity from a little bit older activity from this morning time frame, we did see a 4.2 into the area of Chile, into the subduction zone of the Peru-Chile Trench down there at about 102 kilometers. Also note the majority of these earthquakes pretty deep, all 5 of them down there. The deepest one, 170 kilometers there for the earthquake into Argentina, underneath Argentina, I should say, at 170 kilometers for a 4.2. Puerto Rico Trench, looking, I'm not even going to say it's active because it really doesn't look specifically active right now. Got a 3.7 earlier along the Puerto Rico Trench at 33 kilometers, but other than that, there's only a very small handful of quakes into the Puerto Rico area. West Coast, some movement up through Washington into the Cascades area. We did see a 3.5 or 3.6. Looks like they upgraded that into the area of close to the Mendocino Triple Point Junction. This is the southern end of the Cascadia. We have been seeing quite a bit of swarming here in terms of tremor activity down dip downstream into the Cascadia subduction zone itself, which ultimately adds pressure back upstream, and that would explain some of the activity we're seeing here at those levels. We'll check out the tremor here in just a short amount of time. Some activity up through Mount St. Helens being reported here by the USGS. Finally, at least 2 earthquakes. Looks like a 0.9 and a 0.2. We'll verify this activity here on the seismographs here in just a second. Mount Rainier showing some activity as well, right smack dab at the summit, 0.3. Very shallow at 1.6 kilometers. Got to remember there has been quite a bit of tremor activity up and down the board here along the Cascadia, adding to further plate tectonic stress here in the region of the Pacific Northwest. Through Montana, Yellowstone, not a whole lot going on at all. Not a whole lot being reported, at least. Cobb Mountain region, oh man, look at this. So this is the all magnitudes level. I think, I'm not 100% certain. I'm going to have to pull up some seismographs around here. But I think they stopped reporting anything that's below, say, the 1.0 threshold. I'm not even joking, because this is a little on the abnormal side in terms of earthquake activity that's being produced out here with the Calpine hydrothermal fields. Looking at the all magnitude map here, this is the last 30 days, and this hopefully doesn't crash my computer. Nope. This is what it should look like. But it looks like in recent terms, they've kind of dropped the level of magnitudes, so to speak. Because this is 1,120 earthquakes. That's a lot, right? Got to remember, though, the whole operation that's going on down here is a creation of earthquakes due to the steam, the dry steam, by injecting raw sewage down in there from the Bay Area, of all places, to produce energy. I know it's a pretty, I'm not going to say the word, but pretty ugly way to produce energy. But hey, I guess it works. But man, I'll cover this a little bit in more detail in another video. I've covered it tons and tons of times in the past. I'm not going to go into it, but it kind of seems like they've only covered a couple different magnitudes recently over the past couple days, so I know there's more than that. A little bit of activity outside Reno and south of the Lake Tahoe area, the Antelope Valley Range, near the Walker Ridge, Walker, California area. Some microquakes kicking up there. But overall, again, folks, like we talked about this in this morning's update, pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot going on. Why do I get hiccups right in the middle of my update? Who has a voodoo doll of me and is who knows what, giving me hiccups out here? Not good. Ridgecrest area, a little spotty activity here. Even one earthquake within the last hour. Very small microquakes there. Microquake within the Ridgecrest region. Southern California, there's not a whole lot. There is some activity west of Salton City. We don't see too much earthquake activity out here, but today a 0.8 and a 2.0 within that region. The San Andreas Fault here, southern section, remains sleeping for now. Let's not knock on that door, because that could open up a world of hurt for Southern California. Some movement outside of the Mexicali area, just south of the border. A couple 2s and some 1s kicking off there in that region. Oklahoma, Texas, not a whole lot going on there. Some of these earthquakes along the eastern coast from earlier this morning, not a big deal. Up into northern Alaska, low activity taking place outside of the Brooks Range, well north of there. But overall, folks, like I said at the beginning of this update video, things pretty calm in terms of movement. Now, that could be contributed to who knows what, a whole lot of stuff. It might just be a little time period of quiet activity, or it could have something to do with the no doubt the alignments going on in space, or lack of alignments. All right, let's go ahead and check Yellowstone right off the bat, and then we'll check the Pacific Northwest. There's not a whole lot going on, folks. Don't let this air fool you into thinking that there's magma movement on the rise, because there's nothing going on there at Yellowstone National Park. There's some error going on there around Mammoth Vault. Obviously, anyone with eyeballs can see that, right? No earthquake movement showing up on these recorded seismographs. A little activity, very small, very, very small microquake activity here around this region of Yellowstone, which is the Little West Thumb area. But overall, no major swarms, no increased pressure of movement here along the Yellowstone area. The tremor map tonight has kind of dropped down gradually from the past week and a half, 2 weeks of activity. Yesterday, we've seen that movement drop down. Today, a little bit further down to the 111 range epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia, mostly into Washington and Northern California again, kind of like what we've been seeing here over the last week or so. I want to bring up the last 2 weeks of activity and show you guys the number of movement. Here is the counts, right? See, we had a little dip around the 19th and Thursday, but it's been pretty consistent of tremor activity here since then, and we're looking at a total tally of 6,788 epicenters of tremor. And it covers a pretty wide swath of the Cascadia subduction zone itself. So definitely we have seen some noticeable earthquake activity upstream and offshore, west of the Gorda Plate, obviously producing some stress, further stress, back-building stress, because you got to remember the plate here is subducting underneath the North American plate, creating energy upstream. Yes, we are recording vibrational frequencies there in the tremor area, but it's also adding further stress, which ultimately will lead to a 9.0 earthquake or greater within this area of the Cascadia. That's how it builds up stress. The subduction, the whole operation itself is how you wind up that spring. So no doubt the tremor activity contributing to further strain along the Cascadia. And as I mentioned, that will no doubt be a big one one day. When it will happen, who knows? I think it will be in a pretty much in a time frame where we're looking at a significant amount of tremor. Check out Mount St. Helens here into the Pacific Northwest. I'm surprised they're reporting it here on this holiday weekend. Looks like a little activity, a 0.9 and a 0.2 over the last day, or today, and the UTC time of May 30th. So let's go ahead and check out the recorded seismographs here. Let's see what we got. We'll kind of check them out and see if we can find them out there on the map. So let me bounce back here. Stand by for just a second here while I pull up the all magnitudes map. I'm just pretty excited for tonight's event. I'm hoping that we get to see some good events here. So 0.9 is not even a 1 magnitude, a 0.9, very small microquake. And that's all we've been seeing over the last few weeks, but it's been consistent. So that's why I've been talking about it for quite a while. 11:07 UTC time. Let's go ahead and go check that out. 11:07 is going to be the previous UTC date. 11:07. Right there, right? That's probably about the point, right? 0.9? 0.9. 11:07. So let's go back to this one. This one's kind of, stand by for a second here. This one, a 0.2, is at 0603. 0603 is gonna be within this time, within this period here. So I'm thinking, and if you look at the map here, that the point, I find that kind of odd though. because it kind of looks like a little bit larger earthquake than the 0.9. They're saying this is a 0.2 and this is a 0.9. So it could have something to do with location here. But then again, the seismograph station that I pulled up is right around the 0.9 area. So I'm not 100% certain. But then again, look here, folks. The 0.9 is much more shallower right there. See that? 0.9? Much more shallower. The 0.2, much more deeper. But that still is a little odd. I don't get that. Why is that more prominent here? Unless they're not picking up that larger earthquake. Maybe they're picking up this one or something prior to that. But man, I've been watching seismograph stations and graphs for quite a while, and to me that looks a little bit larger than the supposed 0.9 down here. 0.2, 0.6, and then 0.9 down here. So whatever. Oh goodness. Either way, there's a handful of quakes here, and if you notice, they only reported 2 out of the maybe 30 or 20 or 30 of them that are showing up here on this graph. And yes, those are all earthquakes showing up within this area. So, goodness. Let's see what else we got here. Earthquake scan. We'll go ahead and move on through the drama there. And there's not a whole lot going on through the Earthquakes Canada map. Looks like this earthquake here, the latest, near the village of Queen Charlotte, BC region, 1.6 at 15 kilometers. And again, this is north of the Cascadia subduction zone. Nothing showing up here on the Earthquakes Canada map here along the Cascadia itself in terms of recent history. So, well, let's see here. Man, I'm getting excited. Like I say, I got all my batteries and stuff charging right now for the meteor shower tonight. And I tell you what, even if I don't get any meteors tonight, I will still post up on the Earthmaster page, and even here on the YouTube channel and Twitter, Facebook, whatever, all my channels, or all my media outlets, I should say. I will at least post up the nighttime sky tonight, which is pretty cool. Because if you're using a long exposure camera underneath perfectly clear skies, you can see the brilliance of the galaxy itself, the spiral from the Milky Way, and it's pretty awesome. I'd like to catch a couple shooting stars, meteors. I would love to see 40 meteors per second, but if it doesn't happen, I'm going to enjoy the night regardless. And I will post it up here for the folks to see on the YouTube channel. I'd love to have some type of night like recording camera where I could stream it onto the channel so we can see the shooting stars here on the YouTube channel. But man, I'm not that rich. I don't have that type of instrument or camera capabilities here on this end to do that. I'm not NASA. I'm definitely not in that position to do that. So, okay, looking at space weather, it looks pretty calm, folks. Looking green across the board, and even greener as we head into early June. Look at that, only a 15% chance of any type of storming. Sunspot activity diminishing. We got 3023 pointed directly at us, 3024 down there as well, but this looks like a solar minimum type event going on right now. I'm sure it's going to change eventually, but here on the Earth side of the sun, things are very wimpy, and wimpy is the word that I like to use in terms of the lowest possibility and probability of things happening. So things are very wimpy at the moment. We're losing speed, density as well, and the BT-BZ zone's kind of opening up a little bit, but that's because of the drop in the speed. But no major flaring to report, no major activity to note here at all on the sun. Things are very calm, at least on the Earth side for now. So, all right, guys, don't forget, okay? Do not forget. This is pretty important. If you guys want to see it, you got to be out there at least Eastern time. If you're out on the East Coast, I would be out there around 12:30 or so Eastern time. And of course, 11:30 for Central, 10:30 for Mountain time, and then I'd be out here. I'm going to be out here at 9:30 on the West Coast here where I live, and I'm just north of the Baja area of California. I live here in Northern California, around right outside of Chico. Let's go ahead and check out cloud cover real quick. I kind of want to see how the cloud cover will look tonight. I did pull this up earlier. I was looking out for myself here. Northern California, the entire California is underneath a little bit of high pressure system. Notice the downward wind. We do have a low pressure system offshore that is going to shoot way up into the Pacific Northwest and into BC area. In the yellow area, those are all clear skies. Let's go ahead and check out here in a couple hours. We'll go, let's go 10 p.m. Okay, my time. So this is when you're going to want to look. If you're up into Kansas area, Iowa, there's a strong line of thunderstorms and severe weather that's going to be popping up there through Iowa City and up into Wisconsin, Thunder Bay, Michigan area. All those areas, not a likelihood of seeing any type of storming far as the, space weather goes and meteor storm goes. And unfortunately, throughout North Dakota, South Dakota, all throughout Wyoming, beautiful big country skies up there. I would love to be up there in Wyoming and Montana and see some beautiful meteor showers, but you're not going to see it tonight. There's a lot of cloud cover up there. A good portion, though, of the south, depending you don't have any low-level moisture coming in, although it looks like there's a substantial amount of flow coming in from the Gulf. This activity not showing anything doesn't mean there's not going to be cloud cover here. But throughout New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, you guys got a beautiful shot of seeing the meteor shower tonight. Again, pending it happens. East Coast as well, Virginia, North Carolina. Looks like we do have some onshore flow, though, which could add moisture at the lower levels. But again, this is the cloud cover map right around 11 p.m. here, my time. So we'll see how it goes, right? We'll definitely see how it goes. But all right, guys, again, if you get any awesome pictures tonight of the meteors and you want to share those, so you're sharing them out there through social media, make sure you send them to me here on the Earthmaster channel, and we'll get them on for you in tomorrow's update video. Just give me your location. And, of course, I will give you guys credit to those that take pictures and video. Video would definitely be cool, but not for sure we're going to see too much of that tonight. But, yeah, so get out there, right? Right around 10 p.m. West Coast time and 1 a.m. East Coast time. Look towards the west-northwest. Either way, these meteors will be coming at a slower rate and won't be as bright. But if you have super dark skies, it will definitely be worth it. We can see about 40 meteors per second pending they happen. It's a little brief window, but man, if it happens, it should be pretty cool. So, all right, guys, have a good night. We will chat you a little bit later. If I catch anything substantial tonight, I guarantee you I will post it up tonight for everyone to see. So, all right, guys, take care.